This is WaXed.
Well, holla, you surfers, you goddamn nerds. I'm just kidding. We're all part of the tribe. How are the breaks looking? Got some lefts, some rights, some green rooms, A-frames.
A weekly surf talk radio show.
Hopefully when you go out there, you'll find your green card and surf on the home. Poser.
With your hosts, Cyrus Saatsaz.
All I need are some tasty waves, cool buzz, and I'm fine.
Omar Etcheverry.
Locals only, you grommet. Stay off my beat!
And Natalie Rose with the news and weekend surf report.
Surfing is out of this world. You just can't imagine the thrill of shooting the curl. Well, it positively surpasses every living emotion I've ever had.
On ESPN 1700.
Yeah, good morning / afternoon, whatever you want to call it, San Diego. Welcome to another edition of WaXed. It's our first live show in 3 weeks. Our sincerest apologies for not being around, although every week we try to get an incredible guest on the program. So whenever we're not on, we replay some of these interviews, and dude, in my opinion, they're fantastic. They're huge guests, especially if you're a fan of surfing, even if you're just a casual surfer or, just someone who's, interested in the lifestyle of the sport. We try to appease and appeal everybody, not just the core surfer. So hopefully you can follow along with these interviews and enjoy them as much as we do. So for over the last 2 weeks, we replayed an interview that we had with Bree Kleintop, who was in studio with us a couple months ago. Week before that, we replayed interviews with Jerry Lopez and Chris Malloy, two of the greatest legends of this sport. And if you ever listen to these interviews online, our website, waxedradio.com, features podcasts of all the shows that we do. Highly recommend visiting the site. We also have a terrific gallery of all the hottest surf chicas. Go check it out. And speaking of guests, today is no exception in terms of having great guests on the program. Kalani Robb, an amazing surfer, one of the biggest stars of the sport. And he's also extremely mainstream. He starred in the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall. You saw him on TV recently in commercials for Arby's. He was in the commercial where the guy was like, "Oh no." That fat bearded detective. It's like, why don't you just say it was great? And you had the Hawaiian guy going, "This is oh no." Is that the term, Natalie? Was that what Kalani was saying in there? Oh no?
Oh no.
Oh no. That's like Hawaiian for great, I guess. So that was Kalani Robb. Kalani Robb is also currently featured in a Pacifico commercial where he's out there with a bunch of friends just cruising around, spinning a bottle in place of a compass.
No.
Yeah, and so Kalani Robb's been all over the place. He's on TV as much as he's surfing. And he's also one of the candidates, one of the 8 wildcards that are vying to be one of the final 2 that get admitted to surf in the O'Neill Coldwater Classic. They're allowing 2 wildcards that are voted on by you, the fans. And he's one of the 8 finalists for that. Of those 8, 2 will advance and compete in the contest. His video part made it into the final 8, so we're going to promote that and talk about that, and of course cover a whole bunch of things with Kalani Robb. Really excited to have him on the program again. But let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we have a surf report for you that's definitely worth listening to. All those days of absolute flatness are over. Conditions have suddenly become a considerable variable in the surf report. There's wind, there's sun, there's swell, there's tide. I don't know if there's animals in the water.
Warm water.
And water temperature, thank you. That is a 5th variable. So why don't we take a quick break? When we come back, we'll give you a surf report. Natalie, yeah? What's up? What? Okay. You're hand gesturing. You're confusing me.
Sign language.
And when we come back, we'll do a surf report. And then right after that, Kalani Robb here on WaXed on ESPN 1700.
Visit our website, waxedradio.com, to get complete show podcasts. And follow us on all social media at WaXed Radio. Now, here's your weekend surf report.
All right, let's go through this quickly. There is a lot of surf, a lot of conditions to consider. Natalie, what's going on in the surf report?
Well, we have some gusty offshore winds this morning, along with some fun, peaky mix of a south-southwest swell. Easing with the northwest wind ground swell. Exposed breaks run waist to shoulder, head high plus, they say, while top spots are seeing better sets on occasion. The tide is rising, reaching a 6.0 high tide at 9:43. The water is, I believe, yesterday it was 68. It was pretty warm, which is really nice, especially with the warm water, so you can definitely get out there with the spring. They're saying it's probably a little bit more bigger, Carlsbad and more north. I checked it on the way down because I slept in this morning. And high tide is definitely killing it.
Yeah, the high tide's been messing it up all week. I was out on Thursday. You're right. The water is still very warm. If for whatever reason a bunch of you SoCal residents are soft, ditch the wetsuit, man. I mean, I was out there in board shorts and a rash guard and loving it. The water temperature is still warm. Mike over at a terrific surf forecast site, PacificWaveRider.com, he tweeted at us. Our Twitter handle is WaXed Radio. He's over up in Ventura, although today believes at Rincon. He's saying it's 2 to 4 feet of Rincon, where it's breaking in the cove, but not at the point. Emma Wood is similar and cleaner, and Ventura Point is up to chest high. On the south coast, the size drops slightly while the wind picks up and becomes offshore at County Line and Malibu. They are clean, 2 to 4 feet. The winds are light and side shore. The surface is bumpy up at the Ventura, Malibu, and Rincon area. And there is a harvest festival at the adjoining fairgrounds all weekend, so traffic advisory there. Thank you to Mike at PacificWaveRider.com. And let's get Kalani Robb on the show. This is Wax. You're on ESPN 1700.
Visit our website, WaxedRadio.com, to get complete show podcasts and follow us on all social media at WaXed Radio. Now, more Wax.
Yeah, that's right. Make sure to visit our website, WaxedRadio.com, and follow us on Twitter at WaXed Radio. You can also follow our next guest on Twitter. His handle is Kalani Robb. That is his name. He's one of the greatest surfers in the world. One of the most entertaining surfers in the world. The man has certainly revolutionized the sport, and he's also a rock star outside the water as well. Always a pleasure to have him on the program. Kalani Robb, how you doing, brother? Kalani, there?
We must have lost him.
Oh, call him back, please.
Hold on.
All right, no worries. It's worth mentioning while Natalie tries to get Kalani back on the program, he is one of the 8 finalists to help determine the wild cards for the O'Neill Coldwater Classic Invitational that's happening at Steamer Lane in Santa Cruz, one of the best waves in the world. And Kalani submitted a video part for this. If you go to O'Neill.com/CWC, the CWC stands for Coldwater Classic, you can vote for him. So again, the website is O'Neill.com/CWC. If you follow us on Twitter at Waxed Radio, we posted the link to where you can vote and see the other video parts as well. There are 8 finalists. They're actually picking 4 of the 8 through this contest. I thought it was 2 originally, but so 4 of the 8 finalists will be selected to compete in the O'Neill Coldwater Classic. Kalani Robb is one of those 8 finalists. Hopefully he'll advance and actually be competing in the contest. In my humble opinion, a surf contest with Kalani Robb in it is always a vastly superior surf contest. And I'm really hoping we now have Kalani Robb on the phone. Do we have him? Is it a go? He's not punched through. I'm looking at the screen right now. You got to actually go in the silver box and hit it through. Wrong phone. Natalie, I think you're the one that's doing this because you got to hit the silver box that's next to the phone. Remember that? There you go. Kalani, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Oh, I'm here.
Beautiful. Sorry about that. Our sincerest apologies for the technical difficulties. I had this amazing introduction that I went through, and then I went to you, and then I don't know what happened.
He heard it. He said he could hear us. But
Yay. Love it. How you doing, man?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, the pleasure is all ours. I was just mentioning as well, real quick, too, that you're one of the 8 finalists to be a wild card entry to the O'Neill Coldwater Classic, which is happening in a month down at Steamers Lane in Santa Cruz, one of the best waves in the world. To become one of these 8 finalists, where people go on the website O'Neill.com/CWC, you had to submit a video part. So describe what'd you do to make this video part?
Actually, it's funny. My buddy Teddy Navarro, he's really, he's in the loop of things. I'm kind of out of it as much as, not as much as he's in it. So he told me there was a competition out there, and obviously everybody heard about the Hurley one that was going on. That was a big hype, and I was like, he's like, hey, you should enter a couple waves. I know you got some good video waves that no one's seen, and this and that. And I was like, oh, okay. And I literally, it was the night I had an hour or so before the deadline. He told me that afternoon before we surfed, and I was like, oh, okay. So I literally was trying to figure out how to upload it, and I just put whatever footage I had on there as quick as possible, and barely made the deadline. So it was cool. I just kind of heard about it and just figured, hey, I got some surf footage. I might as well see if it will stand to be good enough to be in the video competition. And then I made the top 8, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. And it's funny because you're right. Hurley, it was actually one of the first of its kind where Hurley had these finalists to see who would get into the contest as a wild card. It was all video parts submitted by the surfers themselves. And so you basically put all this effort into your video part for the Hurley contest, didn't become a finalist, and this time you just kind of said, screw it, let's just turn in what we have, and now you're one of the 8 finalists. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much. I've got to say, yeah, that's kind of it.
I love it. I love it. It's almost like dating, where if you just don't care, you succeed, and if you put all this effort in, you're probably going to fail.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, for sure, right?
And so, but the cool thing is, so you're one of the 8 finalists, and of the 8, they pick 4. So you have a 50-50 shot, which is pretty badass.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I haven't checked the things, and last time I checked, I wasn't very high up there. But yeah, there's 50-50 chance, and I guess the more that you reach out like today and tell people that you're on it, I guess the more that people know that you're doing it and they vote, then you'll make it. It's a interesting way of getting into contests now, and it's sort of like this new thing that everybody's doing, and yeah, I mean, it's cool. I got some footage, and might as well, nothing else. It's just submit some footage and possibly get in a contest. That works good for me.
I love it. It works good for fans of yourself, like for fans of you like myself. It's awesome too. And I'm looking at the website right now, and there are 8 finalists. So if you go to O'Neill.com/CWC, the CWC stands for Coldwater Classic. Go in there, check out Kalani Robb's video part, vote for him, get him in the contest. To me, dude, any contest that has you in it instantly is goes up in the prestige factor. Are you excited? It's been like a few years where you were, like a full-time competitor on the ASP World Tour. You kind of dropped off the competitive scene for a little bit. You're doing mostly free surfing, and now you're starting to get back into the swing of things. Does it feel different now versus what it used to be?
Well, yeah, I mean, to tell you the truth, I mean, back then I obviously was a lot more gun-ho about it, and I mean, not gun-ho, but that was like what I did, It was like consistently my deal. I was traveling on tour for my whole life, and that was like my deal, just tour surfing, and I took a break from it for a while, and it just became overwhelming. I didn't really, it's not that I dislike competing, it was just getting to be a lot of competing, and then I kind of stepped away from it for a while. But, I really found out that I enjoy competing still, not maybe so much on the grueling tour where it's just like crazy traveling, nonstop. But, yeah, I miss, I think I miss a camaraderie, too, of surfing with my friends. And I kind of noticed that when I don't surf with those higher caliber guys, that I feel like my surfing's not as good as it used to be. And it's like coming up short in my mind, and just when the boys were here in town at Lowers, I got to surf with Taj a few times because he was, I live here in San Clemente, and he was staying down the street. And I felt so much better because I saw him taking off on waves and ripping and just making me go like, oh shoot, okay, I got to get my game back on, and it just kind of just naturally elevates my surfing. And then he won the contest, and I was like, all right, cool, I had a lot of fun. I surfed him, and he was even joking. He's like, dude, you should get back on tour and stuff. And I was like, oh man, I wish, And it's really hard, and it takes a lot to get back on tour right now.
Yeah.
Being on the whole circuit. So, but yeah, I had a lot of fun, and I really realized the natural push that you get from surfing with the best guys in the world, and I really miss that, and especially surfing in those really good waves too, obviously.
Right, and by yourself or just with one other person in the water, I'm sure is huge. And we're joined by Kalani Robb here on WaXed, and talking about Taj Burrow, who just won the Hurley Pro a couple weeks back. I mean, the age difference between you guys is what, like 2 years? I mean, 1 year or 1 year, even less. So when you see guys who are like your age winning these World Tour contests, you see guys, and Mick Fanning is not that much younger. Kelly Slater is significantly older, and he's one of the 2 main competitors for the world title this year. Does that add fuel as well to at least consider going through that 1 year QS grind to get on the World Tour again?
I don't know. It's as people. I don't know if people know or they don't know, but the surf industry is taking a huge hit. They don't really have room for things that they used to have room for, like a free surfer or a editorial surfer, because there's a couple different types of surfers that people don't know. It's like there's a competitive surfer, which is like that guy on the grind, the PGA Tour, the guy that goes out there, and then there's like the guy that just kind of hangs out and does that lifestyle and shows the coolness of surfing and does the surf trips and hangs with his buddies and gets the photos with all his surf trunk sponsors and all the product that his sponsors he's riding for. And nowadays, because of how, the economy is going and the surf industry is going, there is no free surfer anymore. There's just that gun-ho, competitive, big name sponsored guy, and then there is no room for the kind of free surfing guy. And I had preemptively, retired off the tour when people said that I shouldn't have, and I should stay there and all that kind of stuff. And what I was becoming, what I wanted to become, because I was having more fun doing it, was not the PGA guy chasing the tour. I was, rated number 5 in the world. I was pretty happy, and I'd been on the tour for 15 years or so. I wanted to kind of take it easy, but still love surfing. I still love surfing. I wanted to go out there and just have fun and show my skills and be that editorial surfer and just kind of go, okay, this part of my life, I just want to show what I got. I think that the losing factor of you win some, you lose some, was really kind of bringing me down. And I thought, hey, I just want to really be happy. And I think I surf the best when I'm happy. And I think my sponsors will get the most out of me when I'm just stoked and ripping, because if I'm happy, I'm ripping, and
right.
I'm ripping, I'm getting good shots and getting good editorial, and that's what the sponsors want. And, that was on the forefront of what happened to the economy. And then the economy hit, and then there it was. There was no really that basic free surfer was extinct.
Immediately.
And,
you're right. And it's you're absolutely right. And it's amazing in life how timing plays such a huge factor with everything. And so you're saying you went, because you're right, until about 2008, 2009, when the S-bomb hit the fan, you decided, because you saw other surfers doing it and getting away with it and making money doing it, to go the free surfing route, meaning you do photo shoots, videos, travel the world, not have to deal with the grind of the ASP World Tour. And then right after you decided to do that, the economy crashes and free surfing goes extinct. Is that basically what happened?
That really was. I was writing for Hurley at the time, and Bob Hurley is one of the greatest dudes. He is basically a surfer. He just happens to be a owner and CEO of the biggest company in the world, and he's been such a great supporter of me for so long. And he, they had to break it to me that they weren't going to re-sign me, and that was right when all that kind of stuff happened. And I just had gotten back from Bali and with Rob Machado, and we just got all this footage and all this, film and all these photos, and they were like, hey, we're gonna have to cut a lot of guys, and you're one of them. I'm like, oh man, bummer, thank you so much for the support, because obviously all these big sponsors have supported us kids and us guys for our whole careers. They're almost like, the stepdad, with all the money that helps you out and takes you on this big adventure. So it was really great, and it's tough. It's me and a lot of guys out there that got the axe, and it's like the infrastructure of this great sport of surfing has been taken out. Like, it almost feels like, I don't want to make it sound negative. It's not negative, but it's just how the economy went. It's almost like the heart of surfing got pulled out, and it's just the money, and it's just like the corporate side of it seems to be really shining through.
No, you're right. You're right.
And one thing, it's kind of, at first I was like, hey, I'm really used to this lifestyle, the big money and all this kind of craziness and all the, all that kind of stuff. But then, I embraced this other part of it. It's kind of depressing at first, seeing everybody get, lose their jobs, and then, all the names and all these people that make surfing so bright and so fun are gone. And it's kind of like this, oh, bummer, But then I'm like, hey, you know what? Screw it. Got my boys together, like my close friends, and I go, hey, listen, guys, this is how surfing used to be, all right? Surfing used to be all our guys before us, all the guys we looked up to before the hot shots back in the 70s. These guys didn't make any money. They had to spend money, and it was more of a lifestyle, and you did it because you did it. And I said, hey, I kind of surrounded myself with my boys that I know, that I go, hey, listen, all of us are out of work right now in the surfing industry. We all know that this is part of the surf industry, and this is the heart of it. No matter how you want to slice it, the lifestyle of surfing is what holds lifestyle surfing. That's what holds it together. Competition, I love it. I think it's great. It's a great way to elevate the sport. It's a great way to show off, and it's a great way to, get competitive. And like any sport, it's a professional sport, so that's great. But just be honest, it's not what sells shorts. It's not what sells the product. It's not what sells the lifestyle. It's, the hot chicks on the beach, the good-looking guys with the shirts off and surfing good. And it's like, hey, meet me at the beach. Let's have a great day. Let's have a surf, and, and then there's the companies that make money off of that, and that's what always is the heart of surfing. So, me and the guys right now are like, hey, we're not part of the competition thing. We did that. Everybody knows about that now. There's no really, it's, the economy is taking a real big, downfall on how everybody else has gotten it in all walks of life right now. So I go, hey, let's embrace it. We all love it. Let's not, be bummed on it. Let's embrace it, and let's take it back to what it used to be. Let's go out, let's just have fun, and let's just surf. You know what I mean? And a lot of my friends and stuff are getting real jobs and having to do, the stuff that they never did before because they're this incredible surfers. And then, but when they have time and when we're surfing, we're out there and we're doing it for what it really is, the organic part of it, surfing,
No, exactly. And unlike other, and we're joined by Kalani Robb here on WaXed, and unlike other professional sports, you mentioned the PGA, you look at all these, the biggest sports in the world, like the NFL and these kind of things. Unlike surfing, they make almost all their money from television advertisements and ticket sales. And those are two things surfing doesn't have. The entire surf industry is fueled by retail sales, and retail continues to be the one facet of the economy that, in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of economists will back me up, has not recovered from the recession. People still don't want to spend money on hard goods. They'd rather go to Target and spend half the money that they would spend at a surf shop for the same T-shirt or board shorts or something similar. So you're right. It's the surf industry in that regards has not recovered, and unfortunately has hit people in really hard ways. But it's great to see you out there surfing and ripping, and I'm glad I'm seeing you all over the place. And I'm sure most people who follow surfing are thrilled as well. And we're joined by Kalani Robb again here on WaXed. Shifting gears for a second, we had Benji Weatherly was in studio like a couple months ago, one of your good friends. And I asked him the same question I want to ask you because, in my opinion, all you guys who are in Drive Thru belong, and again, this is just me, but I feel like you guys all belong in the webcast commentating booth for these major ASP World Tour contests. You have the most personality, you have the most knowledge, you articulate yourself well. Those are the three main criteria for being a successful broadcaster. Have they approached you to do that? Are you interested in doing that? Like I would love to see you guys take over at least that side of it if you're not going to be competing on the tour itself. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
It's so funny. The tour is its own thing. I don't think that's a great thing to, there's always options to do stuff and like that. I don't know if any of Benji and I are interested in sitting around watching guys rip all day and not being able to surf ourselves. We definitely love it. We definitely respect it and have fun watching it, but I don't know if that's our bag. They have their own kind of thing there, I think, what is funny is everybody really loves that show, and I think that's something that could come back. I mean, literally it could come back tomorrow if we have the right people that invested in it and wanted to do it and knew and saw that worth, which is kind of like pretty, obvious. And everybody who's seen that show loved that show.
Loved it.
Benji and I and all the boys, we talk about it all the time. Donovan's on tour, and he had some pretty good ideas of almost doing like a couple different styles of drive-thrus. But there's a lot of talk of doing it again. We just there's just got to be that investor that wants to do it and is into it.
Is it true too? And Benji broached this. Is it true that Fox, which is actually I guess News Corp, which is the parent company of Fox and Fuel, that they own the Drive Thru name and all the old episodes, so you guys would have to kind of rename it a little bit if you did it again?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They do. That's kind of what happened, why I think it might have fell through in that whole deal is because they kind of, I'm not sure, I almost know as much as you, but I heard the same thing, is almost like when it goes corporate, you kind of, those guys ruin it, you know what I mean? It's like the things that people like aren't corporate things, because if so, then that's not what touches the real people, and that's not what real people want to see sometimes, because the corporate part's always just basically it's just cookie cutter. Here he goes, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one, and then before you know it, they touch it with their corporate finger, and then it's just like, oh, what's different here? Our show was Taylor Steele, Greg Browning, Benji, me, Donovan, Pat, and all these guys that we grew up since we were young, since before we were anything. We know each other. We personally know, how we argue. We can get along. We're like brothers. And people will be, not totally arguing, but fun arguing, bickering and having fun. And people will, get through all these trials and tribulations of stuff. But Greg and Taylor put together the crew, specifically knowing that guys like me and Benji, you know, we're funny. We've been like that all together since we're young, and we have this little communication thing that, you know, obviously everybody thinks is pretty hilarious. And then, you know, guys like Pat that is like the full-on dad of the group that's going to scold you and tell you not to do this and not to do that. And then you have Donovan that's like this musical, you know, like kind of like weirdo guy that's just like, you know what I mean? That he's like a walrus, you know what I mean? He's got his mustache and he's got his beard and all that kind of stuff, and he's like this funny, kooky dude that we just all feed off of and have a great time.
And the surfboards. He also had those crazy surfboards. Like, he always rode funky sticks, like always.
Yeah. And, you know, like, honestly, those are that's one of the things. I don't know if a lot of people know that, because I think a lot of people kind of thought in their own minds, like, oh, wow, Kalani Robb's off a tour, how negative, or, you know, whatever it is, that, oh, wow, did he fall off, or, you know, and that was the kind of thing that I wanted to get away from, is being judged because of the tour being my livelihood, and that judges me who I am as a person. I didn't do it because of that. I did it because I was like, I started doing those drive-thrus, and as you could see on the shows, we were having a lot of fun.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Not only were we having a lot of fun, but we're entertaining a lot of people, and we were number one syndicated on Fuel for like 8 or 9 years. Like, we were the number one show, and that's just us. Like, that's like just us with two of our friends with video cameras doing the same stuff we've been doing since the very starting of a Momentum generation, and it's still entertaining. People are still into it. And it's like that momentum build-up snowball effect of us being who we were and younger to these, you know, where we're moved on and a little older, and people know who we are and what we're doing, so they kind of personally know and can be attached to who we are. And here we are, you know, watching us in all these situations, and it's just like that. It's like that. We weren't like these reality shows right now, like all these Housewives of Beverly Hills and all these shows that my wife makes me watch. It's like we were people, real people, that actually, you know, and no negative, it's just real people that people already knew that did this. You know, we were kind of ahead of the curve as far as these reality shows, because we did these in the beginning, and then people could relate, you know, like, oh, hey, you know, so-and-so, you know, United Airlines totally screws me on surfboards too. And like, there's one episode that Pat's straight up making the best points, pointing out stuff, because he's that kind of guy. He's technical. You know, he's another guy, Hurley, so he's like the smart dude, pointing out to the lady, listen, there's nothing in your rules that says that you're supposed to charge us. Where does it say it to charge us? And if it does, here, I'll pay you, but tell me. Lady couldn't show her. Big argument. We ended up still getting charged like thousands of dollars to put our boards on there, and we're like, you know, it was like one of our first episodes of the next year, and people were like, oh, my God, you know, that so-and-so airlines is just charging me all the time, and, oh, that happens to me too. I can't, you know, and then they relate to us too getting completely, you know, bent over by the airlines, and then, you know, then they're going, oh, wow, it's cool. And it's like just simple things like that, you know, it's like great things. People all around the world are like, oh, my God, that's so funny, and okay, yeah, you know, watch out, airlines, because you mess with the drive-thru, you're going to get less business. And people are like, okay, yep, I'm over United. I'm not flying United out of San Diego ever again, you know? Yeah. So I'm flying out of Aloha or whatever, or Hawaiian Air or whatever it is, you know? And it's funny. So
the whole thing was fun. Yeah. And the thing is, you guys all had amazing chemistry, which is vital for any show, whether it's, you know, TV, a movie, radio. You guys all have chemistry. Like, you just fed off each other wonderfully. And I really do hope you guys bring that show back in some form.
You know, I really do too, and there is definitely a possibility. To tell you the truth, I spoke to Greg Browning earlier, just a few months ago, and I go, hey, Greg, listen, you know, like, me and Benji and all the boys are all ready. Like, if you want to do it, we're going to do it again. And, you know, what a bummer that, you know, Fox bought the network and blah, 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 and took the name and this kind of stuff. But I go, dude, like, who cares? Who gives a crap about the name? We name it whatever the hell we want to name it. It's us that makes the show. You know what I mean? And then he's like, yeah, man, like, I'll do it. Anytime we got the backing and anytime we have somebody that's interested in doing it and sees a worth in, you know, whatever they want to do advertisement-wise and everything, then we'll do it. So, like, literally, it's all the boys are there. All the boys are ready. Benji and I are in the perfect scenarios to do that because we have nothing but time right now. And, you know, Greg and those guys are just willing to do it. So I guess anybody out there that would like to do a drive-thru or you know, support the drive-thru and get it back on the air, no matter what channel it is, people will watch it, and we know we've delivered. We'll definitely kill it. We we definitely have spots that we want to go. We have it all mapped out for it just to be going. You know, it's just sitting there waiting to be done.
Yeah, I think Benji mentioned East Coast was like the one area you guys hadn't covered yet, and it would probably cost the least amount of money too, at least for travel.
Man, the people on the East Coast, yeah, that's exactly right. What we'll probably do if it comes back, we'll do the East Coast, you know, like the whole 9 yards, and you know, surf the stationary waves and go behind the boats and surf in Texas and go to New York and go surf in New York and go visit all the people on the East Coast, because the East Coast people are such great fans of surfing, and they deserve to have that show come through there and show how much that there is alive, and you know, there is a lot of support of surfing on the East Coast, and their culture is so different. And yeah, we're really hoping that it would happen, and I'll look forward to it. I think it's going to happen. It's just like there's so many people out there asking for it that it's bound to happen. We're just kind of waiting for it.
Hope so too.
I think it would be the greatest one of all time so far, because like, you know, the people on the East Coast are amazing, and with the Drive Thru coming through with that kind of support and those kind of there's so much to do on the East Coast that I would love to be able to show off. And you know, we're almost like the ultimate marketing tool of all surfing, you know?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely
Hey, how
right.
many of you guys are married or have kids right now?
I'm married,
Drive Thru.
and I have a 1.5-year-old. Donovan's married, Pat's married.
You guys could be
Yaden's
like
married.
the real husbands of surfing.
Yeah, you know, okay, so that's another funny one. So Donovan, which this would be hard, we laughed about it, it would be kind of funny, and obviously it would be absolutely hilarious, like, for sure. Donovan's idea was to do a Drive Thru family edition.
That would be pretty cool.
Does Pat have kids too?
Pat, not yet.
Okay.
You never know. He just got married this year.
Wow, okay.
Yaden has a little daughter about my daughter's age. We had our daughters at the same time. I have my daughter, Donovan's kids. He has like 2 kids, I think.
Yeah, he does. I think you're right, yeah.
Hendrix and I forget the other, and then
Hendrix.
Benji's not married yet.
He could be like the crazy uncle.
But he's been with his girlfriend for like years, hasn't he? So you could just kind of tow her along, you know.
Awesome. Monica's awesome.
Make him get married on the show.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Cool, okay.
We need ratings. Come on.
That would be funny. But yeah, so it is funny. It's such a you know, likable show that, yeah, it's definitely possible, and that's funny Donovan should say that, because it would be pretty hilarious, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to see the Drive Thru guys and their antics, what they did with their family. That would be pretty amazing.
That would. And you can almost like somewhat keep the Drive Thru name and just do a play off that with the family. Anyways, we could talk about this all day. And we're joined by Kalani Robb here on WaXed. Natalie has a segment we do with every guest. It's 5 questions, has a cool little music bed that accompanies it. Natalie, you ready to go with your 5 questions for Kalani Robb?
Yeah, does he want to play, though? That is the first question.
That is true. Are you down to play?
Yeah, fine.
Beautiful.
Right.
Fire.
Sounds good.
Fire away.
That's kind of a trick question.
All right, we're going to start off easy, but again, it might get a little crazy towards the end. And these are just 5 questions because people kind of want to know who you are. We see who you are in the public eye, but how are you behind the curtain, basically? So first off, what is your favorite sport to watch on TV?
Dirt biking and boxing.
Dirt biking and boxing, really? So you love Fuel TV?
I don't watch Fuel TV at all. I haven't watched Fuel TV since they just turned it into dirt biking and fighting, actually. I love the boys at Fuel. I love them, and it's awesome, but there's nothing for us boarders to watch on their station anymore.
Yeah,
it's
true.
Purely violence and purely dirt biking, and
which is what you like.
Have everything that it used to have. I watch HBO, and I watch Cinemax. I watch Floyd Mayweather because he's just quiet and he's out of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And Juan Marquez, Marquez and all those guys, and Pacquiao, and I love that, and I love watching dirt biking. Like, you know, I've broken my body like crazy on dirt biking. It's just the sports I love, man.
Interesting. All right, if you could be any superhero, who would you be?
Ooh, any superhero. Jeez, I guess Superman, because he can fly and I can surf everywhere and not worry about playing rackets.
Everything would be super cheap.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chopu would be like minor nowadays. I'd just be like, no worries, Superman, got it.
Got it. I can change when I get there. No one will know who I am.
Yeah, just go down below on a boat and boom.
All right. Companies and brands, this one might get a little tricky, okay? Companies and brands sometimes use slogans to get their customers' attention. If you were to use a company or slogan, it's like idea to get your wife's attention in the bedroom, would you use Jack in the Box's slogan, "Hey honey, I don't make it till you order it," or Little Caesar's catchphrase, "Baby, I'm hot and ready"?
Little Caesars.
Why?
Because I'm hot and ready.
Because you're hot and ready?
Good answer. That's a great answer.
Okay. I can't argue with that one. All right. When growing up, what was another profession you thought of being besides a pro surfer?
Growing up, I wanted to be a professional dirt biker.
And
Yeah, that's too easy. That's
that's-
way
come
too.
on,
I could have.
yeah.
I knew that.
You
one.
got to give us
I
something
mean,
else.
I don't know if a lot of people knew that, but I mean, it's like, I almost didn't make the tour once because I broke my wrist really bad and I couldn't surf, and I had to
And you told
saw off my cast and then duct tape it so it wouldn't break again and surf pipeline to make the ASP World Tour because I was like losing out on it.
That's crazy.
And I broken both my wrists. I broken my collarbone twice. I broken like all these bones because I love this sport, and I've never done anything to. I mean, I don't want to say it, jinx myself, but I don't hurt myself like that usually in surfing, and I love that sport so much that I was just literally breaking myself, and it's just got everything I want. It's got speed. It's got air. It's got danger. You know what I mean? It's great. It's got adrenaline. You know, it's amazing.
Yeah, we talked about that, I think, last time you were on, how you had to like hide it from your sponsors and all that you were doing all these antics on the dirt bike.
Yeah, but then it came an amazing round of events. I loved it so much that I was going between two sponsors at the time, and I didn't have one. It was in between. I was about to, re-sign with a few people, so I was just wearing what I wanted. And I wore a Fox T-shirt because that's the brand that I just liked because of my secret love of surf biking. And I got the cover of Surfer magazine. And then I got a phone call from Fox, and then for the next 9 years, I rode for Fox, and they were literally probably one of the most exciting and best sponsors to have because at the time, I was dirt biking and surfing. It was like the absolute perfect relationship. So it was like kind of a good thing in disguise, you know?
It is, yeah. And, dirt, for whatever reason, a lot of Hawaiians are really into dirt biking. I see, I see that all over the place. Is that a Hawaiian thing? I mean, I guess everyone does it in general, but I don't know what it is.
We're like Pacific rednecks, dude. We got like big lifted trucks. We talk all kind of funny and you know what I mean? We got our own Cajun slang. And yeah, we like to get dirty and get crazy. But yeah, I don't know what it is. It's dirt biking, camouflage, cutoff shorts, and big trucks and pit bulls and surfing, you know?
That's funny.
Hey, have you ever been down to like San Felipe area, or do you just stay, because you're in Orange County, right? So do you
we live in San Clemente, yeah.
So do you just go out to like Acatilla and Glamis, or do you ever go down to Mexico?
To tell you the truth, when I ride, which I haven't been as much, I usually ride when I go back home to Hawaii, or sometimes around here, just like not so much Glamis. That was like my wish in life was to ride Glamis, but I just kind of said to myself, dude, you go out to Glamis, you're gonna kill yourself.
It's pretty crazy out there.
Too much dirt bike and crusty demons of dirt, I probably would have killed myself. But I kind of take it easy now. I mean, I have a baby now. I kind of do more surfing and not try to kill myself as much because it's like, this dirt biking was all about me, and now I can't really do all about me as much,
It's true.
So, and I don't ride for Fox anymore, so it's like it's not like,
Yeah.
not that big of a deal.
Any more? Was that 5 questions? Do you have
We
any
have
more?
one more.
All right.
Okay. I always like to know this from professional surfers. You get to travel all around the world, and you've been to so many amazing places. Is there somewhere you haven't been yet that you're still dying to go?
That's a pretty good question. Well,
You're probably like anywhere
the thing
tropical,
is-
huh?
the thing is, it's kind of crazy. I've been to Indo, I've been to Australia and stuff like that, but there's so many other places there that I would like to see. There's a few secret spots that I heard of in, what's the name of it? Bahamas, I think, or like near the Bahamas or something. Which you wouldn't think there would be waves around there, but there's like certain swells and hurricanes that hit certain spots that don't supposed to have waves, and then they have these incredible waves. But yeah, maybe, I can't really say. Like, I guess maybe somewhere in Indonesia, like, there's so many crazy waves that you have to do these adventures that take literally days to get to and do crazy things that you wouldn't expect, like fly into planes and then go to little other planes and take little boats and then go to helicopters and then to another boat and then hike through the jungle just to get to a spot. Like, that's the kind of places that, that are kind of interesting and crazy that you have to go through that kind of stuff to get to.
Right.
Those are the ways that I'm kind of like maybe wanted to get to here, before I get too old.
As long as there's no mosquitoes, right?
Yeah, no more malaria. Yeah.
You want to know something? I'll tell you what I want to do. This is what's amazing now that I think of it. I just went to Germany a couple weeks ago for a stationary wave, like a fake wave.
In Munich? Were you in Munich?
Yeah, in Munich.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing that I'll tell you what, I went with all the people that make the pools, that design the pools, the physicists, all these contractors that make the pool, and I got to hear everything that they're planning on doing. And I tell you what, the new thing I think in surfing is going to be wave pools. And Kelly Slater's working on a wave pool, and these guys are working on these different wave pools. They're going to be mimicking waves that are so good out there.
Right.
I think pretty soon I'm going to be like going, I want to go to Kentucky.
Well,
there's the best wave pool in the world in Kentucky.
Well,
or something
no, you're right.
I'm telling you.
You're right. If they can replicate the technology they have in the Basque Country, and I know they're talking about it now, where they're going to create one, I think, in Hawaii and one here in California, actually.
Vegas, too, at that
and
one.
Maybe. I don't know if it's the same technology, though. I'm talking about Wave Garden. Have you surfed that one yet, or seen the video at least?
Wave Garden is the only pool in the world I haven't surfed. I've surfed every other technical pool that they have in the world. That one's pretty cool. That one's different. That technology is like a boat going through water and making a wave on the side of the lake. That one's interesting.
Yeah.
That one has like a lot of credibility for sure. I think the thing with these wave pools is the energy and the way the energy is dispersed and how much it costs and blah, 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 blah. So it's like, when they come to that and they make it so it's real viable to make money off of it and not cost too much money, I think that's what happened with Kelly's pool. Kelly's pool is an unbelievable idea too.
Yeah.
But I just heard, I don't know this for a fact, but I heard that it costs a lot, and they have to figure out how much it costs, whether to the comparison to how much it makes, and then there you go. But there is a technology out there for every single one of the pool manufacturers out there that if they all just share and get along and get their act together, then they can make that wave pool the best wave pool they ever did. And I think surfing will then go to the Olympics. It'll skyrocket to a whole nother frontier. You'll be able to watch waves on real time, knowing that there is a wave going to come through. It might not just go flat. They'll have a place for spectators to sit. I saw some stuff in Germany where I was just like, whoa, this is next level stuff. And like a decade ago, I was surfing in Japan, and they have this Miyazaki wave, indoor wave thing. And, I mean, if you look on the Internet, there's a couple waves of me. I think it's like an old sponsor, Gravis Footwear, Japan, Kalani Robb, or something like that. There's footage of us in a wave pool where you literally take off, get barreled, get spit out, come out, do like a couple turns, and then you're on the beach. And that's like, it's like incredible, So
no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
What these guys are working on right now is that, and this is technology that's 20 years old. So, this is 2013 when they come together and put that together and bring that to America, where surfing is even bigger. I think it's gonna elevate our sport to a whole new thing.
You're right.
Level.
No, you're absolutely right. And when I interviewed, it's been a couple years since I've interviewed Kelly Slater the last time, but he was talking about how among the many benefits is you suddenly have like an arena where you can actually televise surf contests. You can just have it at a specific time. You got these huge crowds. But Kelly got burned. You're right. Besides the technology for his wave pool being phenomenal, but also expensive, I think he got burned. One of his investing partners got arrested or something. That's for a whole nother. That's a whole nother story. We've had you on forever. Kalani, it's always a pleasure. I want to mention real quick too. After the last time we had you on the show, you've been on not one but two huge national commercials. You're on the Arby's one, where everyone now knows what Ono means. That's Kalani Robb. Yeah. That's awesome. And then the other one is the one that's still playing right now, that Pacifico commercial where you're spinning the bottle to determine where to go on the map next. Congrats on that. Those are huge commercials that you've been aired in.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just it's funny. I guess to end it all, I mean, it's funny. We talk about surfing, we talk about what we do, and all these little interesting things that kind of come out of surfing.
Mm-hmm.
A funny story is I went in to do that Pacifico commercial, and the director of the commercial is Taylor Steele.
Wow.
And this is after I went through the casting and stuff, and then I didn't really know because I was so nervous going through those things. I didn't know who the director was. And I walked through the door, and here's Taylor Steele with all the Hollywood big shots, and here he is as director. And I just went, wow, we've come a long way, Taylor. I look at him, and I swear he knew exactly what I said. I go, hey, man, we came a long way, huh? From where we used to joke around in these videos and make spoofs of these, crazy commercials that we thought should be funny. And here we are looking over at each other in the middle of Hollywood, about to go shoot this multi-million-dollar commercial and be on, syndication and TV for everybody to see. I think, it's pretty rad to see that a couple of kids just from, the surfing neighborhood that, love it have gotten this far. And, I really stoked to kind of pave the way for the rest of everybody. And I know that, all the kids coming up now are going to, look at that and be like, oh, okay, I like to give people like that, hey, look, we can do this stuff. We're surfers. We're going to go out there and kill it, So it's cool. It was real fun to do.
Yeah, and it looked fun. The only bummer about the Pacifico commercial was that it showed that other guy surfing and not you. That was the only thing. I was like, come on, dude. Like, there's no way that guy's better than Kalani. Why are you showing him? But, dude, great commercials. Love seeing it. And it's still running. That commercial's been on for, like, months, and it's still just on TV all the time. I dig it, man.
Yeah.
And I hope you got a nice payday from that. I know they pay pretty decent in commercials, so I hope you score a nice little check off that. And for those of you listening, make sure you go online. There's only one more day to vote. It's O'Neill.com/CWC. Again, the website is O'Neill.com/CWC. The CWC stands for Coldwater Classic. Of the 8 finalists, 4 will be selected as wild cards to compete in the O'Neill Coldwater Classic. And let's get Kalani Robb in that event. It's always great to have you in just competing. It's I know you're free surfing mostly, but it's nice having you in the contest also. And before we let you go, people can follow you on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, I believe, all at Kalani Robb. Is that correct?
Yeah. I usually get crazy on my Instagram. My friend Teddy Navarro and I go out with the GoPros. I'm sponsored by GoPro. We go out and take photos, and that's kind of like my daily thing.
Beautiful.
It gets hooked up to my Twitter and my Facebook. So yeah, it's like Kalani. I think it's at Kalani Robb or something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's your name. Yeah, it's at Kalani Robb. That's how you follow him on all the social media sites. And who else is paying your bills? Who are the other sponsors?
Well, I got GoPro, Channel Islands, the guys from Catch Surf down here.
Nice.
Authority Interactive does my website and everything. I got some people that are really interesting way, but my new family here at Hit Play Yoga. That's a yoga thing. I don't talk about it much, but I'm like a real big advocate of yoga. So
nice.
These guys have gotten into it and part of my lifestyle and more kind of in the surfing scene. So yeah, these guys have been supporting me a lot.
Beautiful. And thank you so much for taking all the time out today, Kalani. And we're always huge fans of yours and hope to have you on the show again soon.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Kalani. That's Kalani Robb, and have a great rest of the day. And we'll be back with more WaXed here on ESPN 1700. Yeah, that interview went so long, we ran out of time for the news, so there is a ton to cover. Want to quickly congratulate Carissa Moore for winning the 2013 ASP Women's World Tour title. It's her second world championship of her young career. She was a guest on the program about 2-3 months ago, maybe like 3 months ago.
She's only 21.
She's young.
Shoot.
And I told her in that interview not only that she's one of the rare surfers that totally has her head on her shoulders, but that she's going to be the next Kelly Slater. I could easily see like 10 world titles coming up, looking ahead. I mean, she's going to dominate the sport for a very long time. And if you missed that interview, go to our website, waxedradio.com. If you missed the interview today with Kalani Robb, again, it'll be up on our site later this afternoon. Just go to our website, waxedradio.com. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, @WaxedRadio. Today was a rare day where we started the show late from noon to 1. ESPN 1700 is the official flagship station of Navy football, so occasionally we're going to get bumped around or moved around. Case being next week. We're not on the air at all next week. Navy's on directly when we're on, so we're going to take a week off, and then after that it should be back to the normal schedule for the rest of the year, or for at least the next month or two, who knows. But yeah, so usually we're on from 10 to 11. Today we're on from noon to 1. We're off next week. Back to the normal schedule after that. If you want to follow us to find out what our schedule is, who our guests are going to be, where to find the links for some great stories, just follow us on Twitter at WaXed Radio. You can follow Natalie on Twitter at Natalie Rose. Natalie spelled Natalle Rose. Any other final thoughts before we get out of here?
Omar, we missed you.
Yeah, Omar Etcheverry, because of the change in time slots today.
Wife duties.
Yeah, he had to go do stuff with the wifey.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real husbands of surfing.
And thanks again to Kalani Robb for joining the program. It's always great to have him on the show. And go to O'Neill.com/CWC and vote for him. Otherwise, we'll be back in 2 weeks. We're off next week. We'll be back the week after that. Special thanks again to Natalie Rose for a terrific job today. And thanks again to Kalani Robb for being a guest of the program. Visit our website, waxedradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at WaxedRadio. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. This is WaXed on ES. Yeah, real quick. You have something else? No? You're good? No.
See ya.
And this is WaXed on ESPN 1700. 100.
That is it for us today, and we will leave you with a... I can't do it. No. We'll do it live. Do it live. Thing sucks.